Good evening and welcome to our Saturday news programme on Saturday the 31st of December 2022, the last day of 2022, and it's just gone 6 o'clock and it's New Year's Eve, and thank you for joining me. In the news this week, a critical incident was declared at Dorset County Hospital NHS Foundation Trust in Dorchester yesterday. A post on social media read, Dorset County Hospital has declared a critical incident due to the extreme operational pressures following the Christmas bank holidays. The number of admissions is exceeding the number of patients being discharged, and we are also faced with staffing issues. Declaring a critical incident allows us to take additional steps to maintain safe services for our patients and help us to cope with the growing pressures. Our focus is making sure our patients are safe and that we keep our critical services running. We're working with our system partners within the NHS and social care to see how they can assist us with the patient flow and discharge. Now, at the time of this announcement, they asked the public to help in the following ways. Only ever call 999 in the event of a serious or life-threatening emergency. Visit 111.nhs.uk or call 111 if you need urgent medical help and aren't sure what to do. Being ready to collect your family or loved ones from hospital as soon as they're ready and medically well enough to be discharged. So obviously to free up beds. Do not come to the emergency department with minor injuries, as you'll be signposted elsewhere, such as the local minor injuries units. Of course, there's one of those in Weymouth, and use your local pharmacy if you can. At the time of the announcement, elective procedures and outpatient appointments were currently still going ahead, although they remained constantly under review. Now, the hospital stepped down from the critical incident later in the day, but still says the hospital is under a lot of pressure and wants patients to use services appropriately and continue to follow the advice that they issued when they went to a critical state. Now, staying with Dorset County Hospital, NHS England data shows the number of people being treated in hospital with COVID-19 by 8 a.m. on December the 28th was up from 16 the previous week to 35 this week. There were 8 beds occupied by COVID-19 patients 4 weeks ago in Dorset County Hospital Trust, and now that's up to 35. Additionally, Dorset Healthcare University Trust was caring for 10 coronavirus patients in hospitals as of Wednesday. Figures also showed, and this was up from 9 from the previous week. There were 8 beds occupied by COVID-19 patients 4 weeks ago in Dorset Healthcare as well. The number of COVID-19 patients hospitalised nationally has increased by 91% in the last 4 weeks, while the number of those on mechanical ventilators has also increased by 63%. So a lot more people with coronavirus once again. So obviously follow sensible advice. Well ventilate spaces when you're meeting, and if you're vulnerable, continue to consider using your masks. Now, officers from Dorset Police investigating a serious injury road traffic collision in Weymouth are appealing for witnesses or anyone with dashcam footage to come forward. Dorset Police received a report at 2 p.m. on Wednesday the 28th of December of a collision on the A354 near Morrison's involving a Mercedes Sprinter van, a black Nissan Note and a black Volkswagen Polo. 2 female passengers in the Nissan, aged in their 30s and from Dorset, were taken to hospital for treatment. One of the women sustained serious injuries that are not believed to be life-threatening. The road was closed between the Manor roundabout and the Jurassic roundabout to allow emergency services to safely deal with the incident, and it reopened at around 5:50. Now, staying with Dorset Police, officers investigating a burglary in Dorset are appealing for information about the theft of a mountain bike. At around 10:50 on Wednesday the 20th of December, police received a report that 2 men were attempting to steal 2 motocross bikes from a garage at an address off Allington Avenue. The suspects reportedly abandoned the motocross bikes and made off from the scene. It was then discovered that a black Specialized Fatty 29er mountain bike valued at £2,800 had been stolen from the garage. Police Constable Nathan Busby of West Dorset Police said they're investigating this burglary and would like to hear from anyone who witnessed any suspicious activity in the area around the time of the incident. Now, anyone with information, anyone with dash cam footage, CCTV footage or anything that would be of use to Dorset Police can call Dorset Police on 101, or if they want to pass on the information anonymously can do it via the Crime Stoppers charity on 0800 555 111. Now, large parts of the rail network will be shut down on Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday this coming week as further strike action by the RMT. And on Thursday the 5th, national strike action by the ASLEF union will affect depot drivers and significantly limit the number of trains that can be brought into service. It means that there will be a severely reduced service next week after Bank Holiday Monday, with no trains at all serving Weymouth and Dorchester on either the Waterloo route or the Bristol line. So that's the South West Railways or the GWR lines. South Western Railway said significant parts of the network will be closed entirely between Tuesday the 3rd and Saturday the 7th. Those trains that are running will be far less frequent and much busier than normal. Now, on the Waterloo line, travelling from Weymouth to Waterloo, the nearest that trains will come to Dorset and Weymouth are Southampton Central. So there'll be a service from Waterloo to Southampton Central only. Due to the impact of these strike days, customers are also advised to check before travelling on Sunday the 8th of January, when the first trains will aim to start from 7:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, on the Bristol line, the nearest services that will come to Weymouth will be Westbury. So if you're travelling on the Bristol line or aiming to, the nearest trains will be Westbury, and on South Western Railways, the nearest trains will be Southampton Central. So not good news for rail users from Weymouth and Dorset area this coming week. Now, people who have received an electronic device for Christmas and are unsure how to use it are being urged to call the Dorset Volunteer Digital Champions for help. Now, we've mentioned digital champions many times on this programme, but obviously a time to mention them again. Dorset Council has a team of volunteers who provide both face-to-face and over-the-phone support to anyone who needs help with technical issues, including how to use and set up a new tablet, smartphone or laptop device. The volunteer digital champions run advice sessions at libraries and community centres across the county. And between 10 a.m. and 12 noon every weekday, residents can also get help over the phone by calling the Dorset Digital Hotline on 01305 221 048. That's 01305 221 048. Now, Dorset Council's portfolio holder for customer service, Councillor Laura Beddoes, said being digital and getting online can make people's lives much easier. We would urge anyone who needs help getting to grips with using their new smartphone, tablet or laptop to visit one of our digital advice sessions or to call the digital hotline. Our volunteer digital champions are incredibly kind, helpful and patient, and their advice is helping thousands of Dorset residents. In Dorset, 11% of residents are completely offline and another 20% lack all the essential digital skills needed to get online. So the digital champions are there to help. For some people that means although they like their new Christmas gadget, they just do not know how to make the most use of it. So to find out where to get the face-to-face digital advice sessions, if you go to the Dorset Council website and search for Digital Champions, or you can call the digital hotline on 01305 221048 for more information or to book an appointment. Now, 2 battery storage facilities in Dorset have been unveiled, or plans for 2 battery storage facilities in Dorset have been unveiled. One proposed by Statera Energy Limited could be built to a site just north of the existing Chickerell substation, directly south of Cold Harbour. The other has been proposed by Bluestone Energy for a site north of Sturts Farm in West Moors. The batteries that usually take in energy when there's excess power being generated on the national grid. The energy is then released back into the system at times of need. Now, the proposed facility near Chickerell substation could see up to 480 shipping containers accommodating the batteries. That's those big containers that you get on the back of lorries. So it's going to be a substantial size site, 480 shipping containers. A link would then go underground by cable to the Chickerell substation. However, it's important to say that no planning application has been formally submitted for this site yet. Turning back to Dorset Police again, 5 police officers from Dorset have been suspended over alleged offensive texts made on a WhatsApp group. The Dorset police officers were stood down after a report of incidents of discriminatory conduct was made in July, the force has said. The case was referred to the Independent Office for Police Conduct and has been referred back to Dorset Police for investigation. The nature of the texts have not been revealed. The officers who were part of a single WhatsApp group will remain suspended while the investigation is carried out, Dorset Police have said. In a statement, the force said, "We wholly appreciate concern our communities will have regarding alleged discriminatory behaviour within Dorset Police, and we would like to reassure them that we will do everything possible to ensure the matter is dealt with effectively and in a timely manner." Dorset Police have not given a time frame for how long the investigation will take or any details of where their officers are based. Now, a Weymouth housing charity, the Sir Henry Edwards Charities, that owns the Edwards homes in Rodwell Road, James Street and on Boot Hill in Weymouth, currently has a number of vacancies in its properties, and these are suitable for individuals or couples in reasonable health and who can look after themselves. The charity trustees want to hear from those who may be eligible and invites applications for consideration. In general, applicants can only be considered if they have been born in Weymouth and Portland or have resided here for the last 10 consecutive years and are in need of financial assistance. The Sir Henry Edwards Charities provides low-cost housing, historically known as almshouses, which are units of residential accommodation, either of a house or flat, which belongs to and is run by a charity. The accommodation is provided exclusively to meet the charity's purposes, for example, the relief of financial need for local people, and they are occupied or available for occupation under a licence by a qualified beneficiary. The beneficiaries are not tenants under the Landlord and Tenant Act, but are residents who occupy the premises at the will of the charity. So the residents don't pay any rent, but they are required to pay a weekly maintenance contribution that must not be set at a level that would cause hardship. Residents must be of good character, must show particular consideration for the needs of other residents, and must abide by the charity's regulations. Now, the Edwards homes were funded by former Weymouth MP Sir Henry Edwards, whose picture you can see up on the screen there, in the late 1800s, and are today operated by Weymouth Town Charities. Now, Matt Duggan, who is a trustee of Weymouth Town Charities, said, "Due to some of our older residents no longer being able to occupy our accommodation, we have a handful of vacant properties available. We would like to find potential residents who have a long-standing association with Weymouth and Portland and who are struggling to the extent that they cannot own their own home, do not have much savings and cannot afford to rent from a commercial or private landlord. We will consider the applications we receive to check they meet the requirements of the charity's governing document and will then offer accommodation to those who the trustees consider are most deserving cases." Now, for more details on the criteria and to obtain an application form and details of how to submit it, you should go to the Weymouth Town Charities website, which is www.weymouthtowncharities.org.uk, and look for Edwards Homes and then the Edwards Homes application. If you have any questions, you can email the charity at info@weymouthtowncharities.org.uk. That's info@weymouthtowncharities.org.uk. Now, figures just released show that Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service tackled 200 more wildfires at the height of the summer compared to the previous year. In the summer, which saw record-smashing temperatures of 40 degrees centigrade, firefighters tackled 285 wildfires in August alone, and that's 200 more than the same month in 2020, and 242 more than in 2021. In July 2020, wildfires were tackled by the fire brigade this year. In July, 202 wildfires were tackled by the fire brigade this year compared to 62 the year before. The fire service said in the first 10 days of August it responded to more than a 400% increase compared with the same period last year, figures described as unprecedented. Now, Dorset and Wiltshire's Fire and Rescue Service Group Manager Stuart Gillian said Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service had an incredibly busy summer due to the exceptional warm weather. The continuous lack of rain resulted in a red fire severity alert being issued, as well as an amber weather warning for extreme heat from the Met Office. The combination of both meant that the ground was tinder dry, and even the smallest of fires could spread far more quickly than usual. When the weather is so extreme, we always urge the public to make wise choices when it comes to fire safety outdoors, not just in the countryside, but in their own gardens too. So take stuff to the recycling centre instead of having a bonfire. Have a picnic rather than cooking outdoors with a barbecue, and don't have a campfire. Doing things a little differently can make all the difference and stop fires from happening and spreading. One of the most prominent fires in August was when a blaze covering 5 hectares broke out in Studland, believed to have been caused by a campfire or barbecue, and it took 3 days to extinguish. Nationally, fire services in England dealt with nearly 25,000 wildfires in June, July and August this year, and that's 4 times as many as in the summer of 2021, and the highest period for over a decade. So not good news there, but hopefully things will not be so bad in 2023. Now, are you interested in learning something about Dorchester's underground tunnels and cellars? The Talk Underground Dorchester Tunnels will be taking place at the Shire Hall Museum in Dorchester on Thursday, January the 12th from 7 p.m. It will be hosted by history enthusiast and former Mayor, Councillor David Taylor, who you can see in the picture there. And he will be discussing Dorchester's many underground tunnels and cellars. A spokesman said, backed by popular demand, Councillor David Taylor returned to the Shire Hall to discuss Dorchester's underground tunnels. David has researched the town's many tunnels and cellars and has come to hear the tunnels used by prisoners, judges, wine merchants and perhaps even smugglers. The talk does not include a tour of the tunnels and is £6 per ticket, which can be bought from the Shire Hall Museum website. Now, new plans have been submitted for a cafe and heritage centre to be built at Radipole Park and Gardens in Weymouth. The latest plans by Weymouth Town Council have been amended. The original proposals, which included changes to the car park, they've been amended from the original proposals, which included changes to the car park, extra disabled capacity and a drop-off point for community minibus. And the cafe has been downsized now to be a smaller kiosk-type cafe with a covered external seating area. The project is expected to cost £1.2 million and will be covered mostly by a Heritage Lottery grant for the Town Council and Friends of Radipole Park Group. It will also create 2 full-time and 4 part-time jobs within the cafe. Weymouth Town Council intend to franchise the cafe, with the rental income being ring-fenced and being used to maintain the building, park and gardens. Security lights and CCTV will be fitted to the building, with the car park layout redesigned to discourage antisocial behaviour. And this is part of a larger improvement plan for the park and gardens, which will include new play equipment, water feature, improved path planting and a sensory garden. Dorchester Beerex Festival will be at the town's Corn Exchange in 2023. West Dorset Campaign for Real Air and Dorchester Casterbridge Rotary Club have collaborated to put on the Dorchester Beerex Festival, which will be held in the Corn Exchange on Friday, February the 3rd and Saturday, February the 4th. 80 cask conditioned ales, complemented by a large range of ciders, will be available to taste at the event, which aims to put some of the UK's top brewers and cider makers in the spotlight, as well as raise money for the Robert Wyke Centre at Dorset County Hospital. The Robert Wyke Centre provides specialist radiotherapy care and outpatient support for cancer patients treated at the hospital and has benefited over 5,000 patients in the last year. Funds raised from the beer festival will be split 50-50 between the Dorset County Hospital Charities Radiotherapy and Cancer Services Funds. This year's event will be sponsored by an award-winning brewery in Dorset, Cerne Abbas Brewery, which is jointly run by Victor Irvin and Jodie Moore. Co-owner Jodie Moore said, "We will be about for the festival all weekend, and please feel free to come and chat all things beer with us. All that remains to say is a massive thank you to everyone who volunteers to run the festival, all the other brewery sponsors, and of course, it goes without saying, but I will cheers to all the good folk who spend their money and who will come and drink the legendary selection of delicious beers on offer and support the 2023 Beerex." Now, tickets are available online for £10 at Camera wdorset.org.uk. That's Camera West Dorset, but it's Camera, CAMRA, wdorset.org.uk, as well as in person in Weymouth at the Dog House and Belvedere Inns. And finally, in our headlines this week, if you're going out for New Year celebrations tonight in Weymouth, it's well known for a fancy dress throughout the town. Be sure that you go out well prepared. Firstly, the police are warning revellers to be aware of the possibility of drinks being spiked. The warning comes as national figures released show 4,924 reports of drinks being spiked in the 12 months to September. Some venues are also making available stop tops to prevent spiking of drinks, but the best advice is not to leave drinks unattended and to be vigilant. And as well, the Met Office has issued a yellow weather warning that runs for the whole of Dorset for today, with heavy rains and flooding possible, although it's expected the rain will die out by midnight, as the weather warning is in force until 9 p.m. this evening. So that's the end of our headlines. Again, it's a much shorter show this week, being a bank holiday weekend. And now we're going straight over to our regular contributor, Andrew Wright, for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. Avatar: The Way of Water has hit the all-important milestone of $1 billion at the worldwide box office, having done so in just 14 days. This was helped by a stronger than anticipated Christmas weekend box office, as well as China being the largest international market for the film, despite coming in under expectations release weekend. The film needs to earn a minimum of $600 million more at the box office for James Cameron to consider it profitable, so let's hope for more good luck at the box office. As 2022 draws to a close, I take the time to reflect on the movies that came out this year, like Marvel sequels, Top Gun Maverick, and the latest Jordan Peele movie, Nope. However, half of my top 10 list this year consists of anime films. Whilst the films like Uncharted and Black Adam showed promise and box office fun, with Violent Night being an unexpected surprise amongst them, and Netflix's The Adam Project being an unexpectedly serious film from notoriously comedic actor Ryan Reynolds, I can't help but feel that Marvel's quality slip amongst other overrated films has meant that there's a wider range of content to make a list from. Ryan Reynolds' Christmas musical Spirited comes in at number 2 on my list after having been an enjoyable surprise. But my number 1 film of the year has to be One Piece film Red, an anime film. I've had some great experiences in the cinema this year, so I hope to continue it next year. As I look ahead to 2023, there are some releases I am very excited for. Marvel looks set to return with a vengeance with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. There is also John Wick Chapter 4 and Fast and Furious 10. We also have Harrison Ford's last Indiana Jones movie and Christopher Nolan's first post-Warner Brothers movie, Oppenheimer. We also have a new Insidious film, the first of 2 new Mission Impossible films, Dune Part 2, a Hunger Games prequel, The Nun 2, Saw X, a new Poirot film, as well as the first of a series of new Exorcist films from the director of the Halloween sequel trilogy, amongst our offerings next year. The movie slate for next year seems to be stuffed to the brim for movie fans of big blockbusters, fan favourite horror and experimental films to test movie lovers. I can't wait to dig into all these new films next year. I will also be posting detailed reviews online through movie review sites, which you can find via my social media, which can be found attached to Wyke Regis TV's social media. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will review the home video release of 2022's sleeper hit horror film Smile, which I have on Blu-ray over there. I just need to watch it. And I will also review Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, which I honestly forgot to do this week. Have a happy new year, and I'll see you again in 2023 for more film reviews. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much there, Andrew. And I won't spoil things. I've actually seen both of the Knives Out films this week, so we'll wait to hear what Andrew thought of them, and I will add my views once he's told us perhaps next week. And I'm very pleased to hear that Indiana Jones is planned for next year. Great fan of Indiana Jones. It's going to be the last one, but well, looking forward to that. And some other blockbusters, hopefully. I think that's one thing that we've lacked this year, is some of those big blockbuster movies. So lots of exciting stuff coming up in 2023, which I'm sure Andrew will keep us posted on. Now it's that time in the programme for the national weather forecast, and this week we are joined by Marco Patagna from the Met Office, and it's a weekend forecast that was produced earlier today, so it does cover some of the day that's already gone, but that's all that the Met Office are providing this week. So we'll go to Marco now.
Hello and welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office. We hold on to very unsettled weather across the UK to see out this current year, all down to low pressure moving in from the southwest. Quite a deep area of low pressure, tightly packed isobars indicating fairly windy conditions across the south and southeast. But notice over the next few days we start to see a little ridge of high pressure building in from the west, so things will quieten down, albeit briefly, as we head into the start of the new year. Looking at things in more detail for the rest of this afternoon, confirmation of a very unsettled picture across England and Wales. Outbreaks of rain affecting many areas, coupled with strong winds, particularly across hills and coast towards the south and west, and the heaviest rain there down towards the southwestern parts of England. Towards the north and northwest it's brighter, but there are some snow showers, particularly towards the northwest of Scotland, and here it's quite chilly too, temperatures no better than 4 or 5 degrees, but a remarkable high towards the south and southeast of 13 or 14 Celsius, well above where they should be for the time of year. As we head for the evening, through to the all-important midnight hour, we'll see that wind and rain across the south pushing its way north across England and Wales, reaching Northern Ireland and the southern part of Scotland there by midnight itself, turning to snow on hills above about 200 metres across southern Scotland. So a bit of a wintry start to the new year here. Whereas towards the north it's clearer, but it's quite icy to go into the new year itself. And down towards the south and southwest, again, some clear spells, but also plenty of blustery showers moving across Wales, the southwest of England, and it will be quite windy at times. Heading into the early hours of New Year's Day itself, those showers continue to pack in across Wales and the southwest of England, coupled with very blustery winds here. Meanwhile, the sleet and snow across parts of Scotland continues to edge a little bit further north into Scotland itself, and it's still quite icy and very cold there towards the north of Scotland. As for New Year's Day itself, well, the wintry conditions across the north, the rain and the hill snow only gradually peters out through the day. The far north and northeast of Scotland stays brighter, but quite icy here for a while, whereas down towards the south and southwest it's a case of sunshine and showers, very blustery those showers moving in from the west, so generally the best of the brightness on New Year's Day out towards the east and southeast. Still quite mild for the time of year at 11 or 12 degrees down towards the south, whereas towards the north it's much chillier, highs no better than 4 or 5 degrees. That's pretty much it for me, but of course you can keep tuned to the Met Office forecast by following us on social media. Have a very happy new year, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.
Thank you very much, Marco. It does look as if people going out and about in Weymouth and Dorset tonight we should have a dry midnight hour. but it does look like that wet stuff is coming in again across Dorset tomorrow. Looking at the week's forecast, here we go, we've got it up on the screen now. Again, very, very mild for this time of year. Temperatures between sort of 5 and 13 degrees. Some sunny spells, some wet stuff coming out, and some cloud as well. Seems to be very, very common, this forecast, doesn't it? Many weeks we've been saying the same thing, and we've just had a few weeks that have been dry and much colder. Just turning to a few final things before we close in our shorter programme tonight. Church services tomorrow in the Wyke Regis area. There's just one service at St Edmund's Church at 11 o'clock tomorrow, which is a whole parish service. No services at All Saints Church tomorrow. Now, on this evening, in 3/4 of an hour or so, we'll be going live for our weekly quiz. We'll be live this evening, New Year's Eve quiz, 7:30, stream live about 7:20. Everybody's welcome to join that, our free weekly community quiz. Every Saturday that is on. You'll be very welcome to join us. Of course, if you've got any stories or news for us and events that are going on, please do contact us at news@wykeregis.tv so that we can include them in our programmes in future weeks. We'd love to hear from you. But it remains, on behalf of Andrew and myself, is to wish you all a very happy New Year when New Year comes in a few hours' time, and hope that 2023 is a successful, peaceful and happy year for you all. Good night, Happy New Year, and I'll be back with you next week. Good night.